When Shohei Ohtani took the mound again last Sunday against the Nationals, the stadium paused, but not in the way everyone expected. It was only 18 pitches, 2 strikeouts, no hits, a clean, precise, almost surgical performance. The only time a Nationals player reached base was due to an error by Mookie Betts, who lost a pop-up in the sun. Other than that, perfection. But right after finishing the inning, Ohtani was pulled from the game, replaced by Ben Kasparias in the second inning. And what could have been a moment for headlines and euphoria turned into a mix of respect and silence, because everyone there knew this was just the beginning. And the real story was still unfolding, away from the spotlight, away from the field. Ohtani hadn't pitched in an MLB game since 2023. And now, in 2025, he returns once again to his role on the mound. Not just any pitcher, the only true two-way player of the modern era, and also the largest contract in the history of sports. $700 million, 10 years, and one body to carry all of it. Against Washington, his fastball reached 98.8 miles per hour. Ohtani finished both strikeouts with breaking balls that reminded everyone of the dominance he had before surgery. But what drew the most attention wasn't what he did. It was what the Dodgers chose not to do. Dave Roberts made it clear. There's no timeline, no definitive decision about how Ohtani will be used as a pitcher. No long-term plan in place, at least not publicly. The Dodgers are testing, watching, measuring, try to understand, inning by inning, swing by swing, how far Ohtani's body can really go. And maybe fans don't fully realize it yet, but what's happening now is historic. We're witnessing in real time an entire franchise trying to balance its greatest asset with its greatest uncertainty. On the field, Ohtani did exactly what was expected. He dominated. But off the field, baseball is entering uncharted territory, because there's never been anything like this before. Roberts revealed the team is considering taking Ohtani out of the leadoff spot on days he pitches. It's a physical matter, a way to reduce the load. But Ohtani, as always, is stubborn in his greatness. He said he doesn't want to change, that he's fine batting first right after pitching, that he can keep going like this. But can he really? In the 6 games before that Sunday, Ohtani had only 4 hits in 23 plate appearances, 11 strikeouts, just 1 home run in his last 18 games. And still, he stepped onto the field against the Nationals with a .996 OPS, still among the league's best. He is at the same time an offensive genius and an athlete dealing with his own limits. Roberts said he sees no signs of fatigue, that the swing speed is still the same. But he also admits when a hitter starts to force it to avoid strikeouts, consistency disappears. And Ohtani, who's always flirted with the impossible, now has to face something no number can hide: the accumulation. Playing as both hitter and pitcher demands a totally different daily preparation, a meticulous load management, a delicate recovery, especially after arm surgery. And this is where the Dodgers face their paradox. They need Ohtani as a pitcher. Injuries in the rotation haven't left much choice. Ohtani is today the most valuable piece on the mound, but at the same time, he's also the engine of the offense, the heart of the lineup, the symbol of Los Angeles' project. It's like the team is trying to accelerate with the brakes on. And the most curious part, Ohtani himself is part of the dilemma because he wants to play, wants to be out there, wants to prove it's possible, and his confidence is so strong it sometimes blinds those around him. It's hard to say no to someone who's already done the impossible and still makes it look easy. But for how long is that sustainable? When a player carries the expectations of an entire city, an entire fan base, an entire organization, everything changes. Every swing becomes a burden. Every pitch is measured like it might be the last. And the Dodgers are slowly learning that maybe, just maybe, they'll have to make tough decisions to protect what's most valuable. It's not about performance. Not yet. It's about time, durability, intelligence. And that's why the silence says everything. No public statements. No big announcements. Just caution, analysis, waiting. Because when it comes to Shohei Ohtani, every step must be calculated. Every move could define the future of the franchise. And that's where you come in, fan. You've seen this team rise, fall, rebuild. You've lived through the right and wrong decisions. Who felt Ohtani's arrival as a new beginning. Now it's your turn to think. Do you believe the Dodgers should keep going as is? Letting him hit and pitch as if his body were made of steel? Or is it time to think differently? Maybe let him pitch only at home. Maybe use him as a hitter only when he's not on the mound. Maybe even rest him for weeks to have him whole in October. Leave your opinion in the comments. Because this isn't just a technical decision. It's emotional. It's about how we protect what we love. When Shohei Ohtani stepped onto the mound last Sunday, the stadium fell silent. But it was a different kind of silence. Not applause, but expectation. Absolute attention. From people who knew they were witnessing something rare, historic, and yet fragile. It was only 18 pitches, but they were enough to remind the world who he is. 2 strikeouts, no hits, a perfect inning, interrupted only by a defensive error from Mookie Betts, who lost a pop-up in the sun. And still, Shohei left the game right after. Ben Kasparius took over in the second inning. And what could have been the start of an epic storyline dissolved into a careful rituals of precaution. Because that's what the Dodgers are living now. A delicate balancing act. Ohtani is back, but he's being treated like a crystal diamond. Shaped, protected, and above all monitored since his arm surgery in 2023. This was the second time he's taken the mound in an official game. The first would contain just 28 pitches. The second, even briefer. And despite the impressive velocity, his fastball hit 98.8 miles per hour, and the sharp breaking pitches on his strikeouts, the front office's focus is elsewhere. To preserve, to control, to understand the limits before pushing them. Dave Roberts didn't hide it. There's no timeline, no long-term plan defined. And what that reveals goes far beyond the box score. The Dodgers know the season will be decided in the details. And when you invest $700 million in one player, any misstep costs more than just a game. It can cost a year. Or even an era. Ohtani keeps insisting on staying in the leadoff spot on the days he pitches. He wants to play, wants to prove he can do both roles. But the numbers are starting to tell a different story. In the 6 games leading up to last Sunday, he had only 4 hits in 23 at-bats, with 11 strikeouts, and just 1 home run in his last 18 games. Even so, he's still holding a .996 OPS. still among the league's best. That's the duality that defines Ohtani. A player who defies performance limits, but who also forces a team into a nearly philosophical dilemma. How far is it safe to let him keep being the impossible? Meanwhile, the season moves forward, and the trade deadline approaches with the same speed as a fastball down the middle. And then a new question arises. How do the Dodgers fill the space that the caution around Ohtani inevitably creates? Because while the Japanese star is being kept under watch, the rest of the rotation needs to deliver, needs to sustain the campaign. And it hasn't been easy. Injuries, inconsistency, instability. And so the front office begins to look outward. That's when Erick Fedde from the St. Louis Cardinals entered the conversation. Jake Mintz from Yahoo Sports brought up the name. A 32-year-old righty with discreet but efficient profile. This season, Fedde has posted a 3.54 ERA over 15 starts. His ERA plus is 116, meaning he's performing 16% better than league average. And although his fastball velocity is average, 93.1 miles per hour, 29th percentile, the value he generates with it ranks in the 92nd percentile among all active pitchers. That says a lot. Even more when you look at his secret weapon, the sweeper. A pitch with lateral movement, hard to read, and one that has held opposing hitters to a .194 batting average. That's not just a nice stat. It's a legitimate threat, especially in October. Fedde also brings another rare benefit, low cost. Precisely because he's not a media star, his market price may be accessible. And that attracts the attention of Andrew Friedman, the silent architect behind so many winning campaigns in LA. He loves these kinds of opportunities. Underrated players with real value, who cost little and deliver a lot. And that's where everything starts to connect. Ohtani needs to be managed, but the Dodgers can't stop because of it. And while the rotation tries to hold things together through highs and lows, a name like Fedde's might offer something no coach puts in a post-game report. Peace of mind. The chance at a trade without sacrificing the future. A solid reinforcement for October. A quiet insurance policy for the days when Ohtani is only hitting or, at some point, needs to stop again. But will the Dodgers make that move? Historically, they don't give in to pressure. They prefer to act with precision, even if that means waiting longer than fans would like. But this season has a different urgency. A now or never kind of feel. Ohtani is here. The crowd is alive. And the window, no matter how promising it seems, never stays open forever. The question is, would you trade for Fedde if the price is low? Or do you believe it's still too early, that the team can adjust internally and rely on Ohtani, Glasnow, Miller, and company? Leave your thoughts in the comments, because this is a phase of the season where details stack up like pitches, and every decision shifts the course of history. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, do it now. Because in the coming days, the Dodgers may decide whether to stick with what they have or clear the path for something new. And when that moment comes, you'll want to be here, because this isn't just the most valuable team in MLB. It's the team carrying day after day the mission to turn risk into glory. And it all begins in silence.